Welcome back to the show, guys. Today I have a special guest for you. This man has walked all the way from Florida to California, and I think you walked further, right? Did you go towards the East Coast and all that, right? Walked very, very far. My man, Kendal, the walking testimony, Ray.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you having me, man. What's up, guys? Walking testimony.
The walking testimony. Yeah, so my man's been on this walking journey for, when did you start your journey, bro?
January 1st, 2022 with my feet in the Atlantic Ocean, Jacksonville Beach, Florida.
Jackson Beach, Florida. So, yeah, you want to just like tell us a little bit about what got you started with all this and how many miles you walked? Do you have like a track of how many miles exactly you walked?
Yeah, I'm exactly right now at 5,592 miles.
That's crazy, bro.
Right now.
Damn.
I was on day 576. I only count the days I walk on the days I walk. So, of course, I haven't walked every single day since January 1st, 2022. There's been a lot of hiccups, but it originally started like not even walking. So I'm walking for mental health awareness and recovery. That's the thing. But it didn't originally start like that. 2013, I was doing a year in the county jail, actually. I came across a newspaper article titled America on Foot about a guy named Harrison Melanian who had walked from Tallahassee, Florida to Laguna Beach, California, and I fell in love with the story. So I got out of jail early 2014. I reached out to him on Facebook and I was like, hey man, like I want to walk across America. Do you got any advice? This, that, and the other. And he was like, it was a life-changing experience for the better. Highly recommend it to anybody, you know, who's basically physically capable or whatever. The only thing that I would recommend is walking for a cause. I tried to put together a walk for a cause to take off January 1st, 2015. But my life was not in the right place. I struggled with depression, addiction, life of crime. I just kept getting locked up. And I ended up getting locked up and put on probation. So I was going to have to push that walk that I wanted to take off on January 1st back like 6 months. And then January 1st, 2015, I ended up breaking into a post office and going to prison.
Oh,
yeah, totally changed. Total big change of plans.
I was waiting for that. You know? Dude, I was at the edge of my chair like, oh, when's this gonna
Dude, yeah. That was nuts. And you know, God's grace and mercy, like I didn't even do federal time. Like the FBI and Secret Service came and like I just got like burglary of a structure conveyance. It caught 18 months. Got out.
Wait, so you got burglar of a what?
It's like a structure or conveyance, like a building, an office building or something, not a residential home.
Okay.
But yeah, dude. So I went to prison and I didn't change my ways. You know, I got out, went right back to doing the same stupid stuff. Ended up going back to prison for 5 years, and it was 2.5 years into that 5-year prison sentence that something clicked in my head and was like, you got to change your life. And it was the last year that I was in work release program that it like hit me like, hey, I wanted to walk across America. I saw this canvas painting in the office. I did telemarketing, and we had this canvas painting, and it was 7 continents, and I saw America, and I was like, Florida to California. I was like, that's what I was going to walk. I was like, but you know what? I'm in the best shape of my life right now. I could go like a crazier path. I want to walk through Colorado. Maybe I could walk to Washington. So I chose a Florida to Washington route and did 13 states, 3,292 miles from Florida to Washington. But I picked that and I was like, I'm going to walk across America. But I wanted to walk for a cause, but I don't want to walk for those causes that I had chose if I was going to take off in 2015.
Yeah.
What could I walk for? And it was every day on social media when I was in work release that somebody was posting about another loss of a life to an overdose, suicide, mental health recovery issues. And I was like, wow, I've tried to take my life. I have overdosed numerous times. I've been in county jail 11 times, in prison twice. I should not be standing here. Maybe that's what I should go walk for. And that's what I was supposed to go walk for. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Literally, this shirt right here is it's the 11th edition of something that I started originally, and I only had one edition when I first took off. from Jacksonville, Florida to Long Beach, Washington. There was only one edition. This is the 11th edition that we decided to put out when I started walking the West Coast. Each shirt says a walking testimony at the top on the front and the journey of a lifetime at the top on the back. Each shirt is 180 names, 90 on the front, 90 on the back, of beautiful souls that are no longer with us due to mental health and or recovery issues. So even though they're no longer with us, they're still being remembered and getting the journey of a lifetime. And we're not just walking for the people on the shirts and the banner. It's all of them in general, whether they're on the shirts or not. But this pandemic's getting so bad, and it's our family members, our mothers, our brothers, our fathers, our sisters, you know, our sons, our daughters, friends, loved ones, spouses that are passing away due to these causes. And we're out here to shed some light, and that 180 stands for taking that 180-degree turn in the opposite direction from the things that are taking the people that we love and care about. And I had to take that in my own life. I shouldn't be standing here. When I say that that's the 11th edition, this banner is 10 editions. This is 1,800 names.
Damn.
Of people that are no longer with us.
Nah, for real though, dude. Damn, that shit looks tight though. Came out though. But yeah.
And it's just something so real.
Yeah.
It's something so real. And it's people that I've met along the journey, people that follow the page that are putting their loved ones and their family members on these things. We're almost to the 12th edition. That's over 2,000 names of people that have been submitted. And this is why we're out here walking, because I should be on this shirt. I should be on this banner, but I'm not. And
how many names do you add per edition?
180.
Oh, every time? Exactly? Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, just for that representation of taking that 180-degree turn in the opposite direction.
Damn.
Yeah, man.
Deep.
Yeah.
That's chest right there.
Yeah, man.
Damn, that's beautiful though, dude. It's cool that you're still keeping their names alive and stuff like that, you know?
You have to. Macklemore has a song, and I don't remember the name of the exact song that it's in, but it says, you die twice. The first time is when they bury you in the grave, and the second time is the last time that somebody mentions your name.
Yeah.
And when I heard that, it hit me so hard, and I listened to that song for so long on this journey, but I got that realization that we're not going to let these people get that second time, because it's something so real, and the first time's already hard enough. You know, to bury somebody is absolutely heartbreaking, and to know that how rapid it's happening to the causes that I'm walking for just in the last couple of years alone. And you know, don't quote me. Do like anybody do your own research on the statistics. The numbers have skyrocketed, and there's a problem. There's so much hate and divide in the world, and I think that love conquers all. And I used to be a hateful person. I used to be a bad person. I'm 31 years old with 13 felony convictions on my record. I was a scumbag. My sister, who I just camped in her yard for a couple weeks, I hadn't seen her in 8 years until I had walked to here from Florida after changing my life.
She was like, I don't want it.
You know, I was a bad person. The night that she got married, like at her wedding, I took cards that were given to her because I wanted the money.
Oh.
I broke into her car, took her checkbook, and wrote myself checks saying wedding help to go cash those, and that was her honeymoon money. I was a scumbag for a very long time, and now me and her can have an awesome conversation. I can go hang out at her house with her. So there's been a lot of restoration in my life, and I'm a super firm believer in hope, and it's something that so many people are losing. And so I walk for recovery, but I walk for mental health. There's people taking their lives daily.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to be here anymore, because there's so much hate. They feel like they don't have any value and purpose. They just haven't figured out what it was yet. And they feel like that's the only way out when it's not. And we got to shed light on that too, especially men's mental health. That's
something a lot of people talk about right there, dude, you know?
It's weird. Yeah, just talking about mental health in general is huge. I didn't realize it until I had grown men like pulling over on the side of the road saying, hey, thank you for being a man talking about mental health.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I didn't think about how heavy and deep it was, but dude, I had grown men cry on the side of highways with me,
I'm
man.
about to cry right now, dog.
You know, dude, like just sharing their stories. It's been really, really crazy. I've made a lot of changes in my life. You know, from just doing massive amounts of drugs to trying to end it twice to not wanting to be here, from hating myself and my family and everybody around me and isolating in different ways, and then thinking that I was a gangbanger for a long time. Never joined a gang, but I used to always hang out with people, and I used to think that I was like a thug, and it was terrible, bro. I had the worst attitude, and I was like
You're like a teenager, bro.
dude, I was like a little Mighty Mouse. Dude, I was like a little guy, but I would always stand up for myself. I would always run my mouth. And I got my butt beat a lot too because of it, but I didn't care about it. And then when I changed my life, it got to the point where like, nobody's worth my freedom. Like, you can say whatever you want about me. Like, I know me.
That's adult.
I know where
I feel like that's just adulting, bro. As you get older, you learn, like, is this worth getting into the trouble I'm gonna get into, you know?
Right.
Before you make that decision, you know, when you're a kid, you just didn't care, you know? But that's good, dude. That just proves that, you know, anyone can change, you know what I mean? Just give them a little bit of time.
Anybody.
Some take a little bit longer than others, but we'll get there, you know?
Absolutely. I'm a firm believer in it, man.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in it.
Some people don't, though. That's what prison's for, you know?
And you know what? Prison, like a lot of them are called correctional facilities. I don't see them as correctional facilities. I just see it as housing for criminals, because there's really nothing they do in there to correct you. You go to bed, you line up, you go to meals and stuff like that. But, you know, how many of those correctional officers are there for a paycheck, or how many of them are talking to each individual person, pouring into their lives, telling them that they are better than their situations? They're not, because a lot of them are putting them down, because I've been in a lot of them, but not all
power,
of them are, you know.
Yeah, but it's just the power trip, you know, it happens, it comes, you know.
And you know what? And at the same time, and that happens in every job, anywhere.
Yeah.
Power trips happen everywhere, and, you know, I can't just straight put it on them.
It's just psychological, bro, you know?
But
it's just the power trip in their job, they get to whoop your ass, you know?
Right.
Different, you know,
but even going to prison, that's not going to change somebody going. And as somebody walking for recovery, I will tell you, going to rehab is not going to change your life.
Yeah.
You have to want to change your life. Getting the tools and putting yourselves in situations that want to help you better yourself, absolutely amazing. You know, very commendable. But as somebody who was court ordered to those programs so many times, I didn't take them seriously. And I was there with so many people that didn't take them seriously. I had to want to make a change in my own life. And it's really weird.
Some people bottom, bro, you know?
And it's really, really weird. Exactly. The system, the court system, everything, a lot of it, you know, some people assume it's all about money, whatever like that, you know, I could see whatever.
There's definitely that element, yeah.
You know, definitely that element, for sure. So, like, when it comes to sentencing people to rehab or probation and stuff, you know, a lot of times they like to do it. They know people are going to violate. They'll put them back on it, and it can be a money game, whatever. So, and this is something I really appreciate about my judge. The day I got sentenced to 5 years in prison, I appreciate him for the wrong reasons that day.
Let's hear it. Let's go.
The day that I got sentenced to 5 years in prison, my mom was in the courtroom with me, and she raises her hand, and she was like, Your Honor, like, we know you're giving him 5 years, but will you please put him in inpatient rehab after this? And my Honor's like looking through my paper. He's like, no, I'm not going to do that. He's been in inpatient rehab. He's been on probation so many times. He's violated pretty much every single time. He has a good support system. I had a good family. I had a bunch of people that knew that I was a decent person when I wasn't on drugs, acting stupid, hanging out with the wrong, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
And the judge saw that. He's like, he has a good support system. He just don't want to change. That man will change when he wants to, and we're not going to waste the resources on him. He's going to do his 5 years. If he wants to change, he'll change.
Yeah.
At first, I'm like, yes, I'm not getting sentenced to rehab after 5 years in prison. I'll be a free man. But 2.5 years into my prison sentence, after getting in fights, bringing stuff to the gate, doing stupid stuff to risk my freedom, risk the gain time that I get to do a longer sentence or even get another charge while I'm in prison, because it does happen sometimes. 2.5 years, is something clicked in my head, and I said I didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah. You smart man. That's why, bro.
Bro, and from there on out, everything was different. I changed everything about myself. There was a few different aspects that led up to it. I have a good relationship with my family now. 2017, after I got out of prison the first time, this was right before I went back to prison the second time, for the 5 years. I was at my parents' house, and in my dad's garage, me and my friends, we were doing acid and cocaine. And we'd ended up leaving for a while and came back in the middle of the night, and they had locked the back door on us that goes into the garage where we were hanging out. And there's a window that like goes into the garage on the side of the house. So I open up the window and I crawl in to go unlock the back door. Like my mom comes out, like we talk, and I'm like, why'd you lock us out? We're hanging out here. Like she goes in after a couple minutes, my dad comes out. I'm like, no, like we're hanging out, like whatever. I was trying to state what was going on that night, kind of thing. And my dad is disabled. He's got like permanent nerve leg damage in his leg and stuff like that, and other things. So at one point there was an issue where he went to go pick up the guitar, and my buddy that was in the garage at the time like grabbed the guitar. He's like, no, like easy, like nobody's hitting anybody with the guitar. At one point, my dad actually picked up the guitar and went to go swing it at me because I was just being wild, and it missed me and it hit my mom in the nose, and she started bleeding.
Damn.
So at that point, me and my dad got into it, and it got really, really bad where I had to give him CPR on like the garage floor, basically. And it just ended up really bad.
Yeah.
All consciousness was there right before the cops came.
Yeah, as you read.
And I ended up going to jail on a domestic with an injunction against my dad. The girl I was dating at the time bonded me out like a month later. I couldn't go back to the house. I had an injunction. And that's when I did some other stupid stuff. For me and two people kicked in a drug dealer's door who wasn't even there. And thank God he wasn't there, or I would not be here right now. My charges would be totally different.
Yeah.
I ended up going to prison, and I broke into, my mom ran a storage facility. I broke into some storage units and took a dude's guitar collection. And it's just stupid stuff. I risked my mom's job and everything in the process. It was nuts. So
I can see why a judge would be upset, dude, you know?
Yeah, especially when he just dropped my probation with like a whole year left on it after I violated 3 times. Yeah, my judge had really just gave me a huge blessing 2 months before I was back in front of his courtroom. So either way, when it came to changing my life, there was a few different aspects. My dad didn't come visit me in prison for a while. It was like over 2-something years. So my mom pointed it out. I didn't catch it, but my mom pointed it out to me. And it was like a subconscious thing. My dad visited me, and like a week later that he visited me is like my clean date.
Yeah.
Which is just so, there's a subconsciousness of like emotional healing and stuff like that with like reconciling with family and things. And then
what are they, the 8 or 10 steps or whatever, you know?
The 12. Yeah, man.
My bad, bro. I've never done the 12 steps or none of that, you know? So.
Right.
How's your relationship with your parents right now?
It's good.
Yeah, that's tight though, dude.
Yeah,
that's
man.
Good family, bro. They just like, just helped you through all that.
No, they've always had my back through all that. So when it came to getting clean with my dad, when it came to getting clean, my dad visited me. It was like a week later, I claimed my clean date. But there was also like, I got in an argument with a dude that was trying to give me some Suboxone, which was like the only thing I ever really did in prison, but it was something I never did on the streets. And the only reason I ever did in the prison is because like somebody either gave me a crazy good deal and I would like share it with somebody, or somebody gave it to me for free.
Yeah.
And I didn't do it that much. But I can still consider it doing something, you know what I mean? So I was like, got in an argument with the dude who was just trying to give me something. We weren't even arguing about that. We were arguing about something totally different. Like, you know what, just keep that, whatever, bro. I'm good. And it was a few days later, I was like, you know what, I don't even want to do it anymore. And so whatever day that I actually gave it up isn't my clean day. It was like so many days later that I chose, like, you know what, I don't know what day that was, but this is the day.
You're for sure
That I'm claiming my date, you know, and that was April 12th, 2019 in prison.
Yeah.
And then I remembered what my judge told me.
What do you say?
I would get right if I wanted to get right.
Yeah.
Or he told that to my mom, you know, that man will get right if he wants to get right. I had gained a lot of weight too in prison. So part of my depression when I tried to take my life when I was younger and stuff, you know, I was sexually abused in the church at a very young age. And then I ended up gaining a bunch of weight, and I just dealt with depression, dude. Dealt with depression really heavy. Didn't like myself, no self-esteem, whatever. After years of doing drugs and running the streets and all that, I had lost all of that weight. You know, I was skinny, whatever. Out there living what I thought was my best life, doing crazy, wild stuff. Now I'm in prison for so long and I'm just sitting there eating food, not doing nothing, gain all this weight that I'd say probably like the most elite workout dude on the compound was like my bunkie, but like in the bunk right next to me. And like for the longest time, for like a year in this dorm. And like we were tight. But at one point, my nickname became BBK, and it was Bad Body Kyndal. And I didn't like that, bro. Bad Body Kyndal. I didn't like it at all.
No, man. At that point, you gotta be like, I gotta change something.
But there was a whole group of these people that worked out, and they were like the most elite workout squad on the compound, and people would go out there one day and never go back out with them. Well, there was this other really goofy kid that actually went out there with him and stayed out. He was out there with him for like 8 months and totally changed everything about himself. Like he became a beast. But he would ask me to come out there and I'm like, nah, bro, like I'm good, dude. And then one day I decided to go out there with him and I couldn't keep up. I think that first day, I think like we did a time mile or something that first week I was out there with him, and my time running mile was like 12 minutes. I walk a 15-minute mile now, dude. But I was running a 12-minute mile. And I was like, whoa, that's, you know, not good. I'm so slow compared to everybody else. But nobody made fun of me or anything like that. They encouraged me to keep going, and that made me feel good.
Yeah.
So many months later, dude, I ran a 5-minute and 57-second mile with these dudes, bro. I went from barely being able to do a push-up to 300 burpees. And that's something like somebody watched me do 300 burpees straight over a course of like an hour.
Yeah.
Just like literally having to shift my position because there was a puddle of sweat, and every time my hands would go down, I would like basically slip trying to hit the next push up.
Yeah.
It was intense, bro.
I feel like there's a correlation between like just working out and cleaning up your life, dude. Just something about that, you know?
It makes you feel good about yourself. It boosted my mental health extremely, like,
yeah.
Especially when you see the results. And you don't see them immediately, and I feel like a lot of people have a hard time with that alone. Like, I've been doing this for 2 weeks and nothing's going on, so, you know, whatever, I'll whatever, start slowing down to the point that they don't go do their routine that they were supposed to be doing, whatever. Consistency is key.
It gives you, it gives you that mental edge. You know, it allows you to be patient, dude. That's what I think working out is good for, you know, any type of fitness, you know. But yeah, it's beautiful, bro. So, all right, so you got it locked up. You cleaned up your life while you're locked up. You get out, you go to Florida, and that was your first, or you go to California from Florida. That was your first walk?
So I did Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Colorado, Utah, Idaho, Oregon, and Washington. From Jacksonville Beach, Florida to Long Beach, Washington, that was 13 states, 3,292 miles. I got a hernia in Alabama.
Yeah.
I went to 2 different ERs. Like, my mom even came and picked me up. I went back to Florida to the ER. They both told me, like, you're not bad enough for surgery. So I went back to Alabama and walked to Colorado. By the time I got to Colorado, it got so bad that I had to stop and line up a surgery. My girlfriend, Paige, who I met in Oklahoma, she came and picked me up in Colorado, brought me back to Oklahoma because I couldn't afford to stay there for a month to wait on surgery. Stayed at her house. Her and her mom drove me back to Colorado in September of 2022. I had the surgery the very next day. They drove back right after the surgery. We went right back to Oklahoma. I healed up. I even walked from Oklahoma City back to her house, like undocumented on my 5,592 miles, but I did 120 miles back to her house just to make sure I was healed up enough to go back. Damn. I loved burpees. After I got the hernia, I was heartbroken. I was like, there goes my burpee game. It was out the game. I was at the most elite shape of my life when I was doing those things. But that hernia kept me from doing a lot of stuff I wanted to do. A lot of days walking to the next town, it was me laying on the concrete at some point crying because it hurt so bad. By the time I got that Colorado, it just was...
Plus you're pushing all this stuff too, dude. It's like...
Yeah, and that definitely didn't help. Pushing the cart, dude. My cart used to be a lot heavier than it is now, and it's still pretty heavy. But
recipe of disaster right there, bro.
Right. But
perfect storm.
But having that hernia, dude, there was so much stuff I missed out on that I wanted to do that I didn't get to do, like, just because I was in pain and didn't want to go out and do stuff. So after having it and being in Colorado for so long due to the surgery and having to reroute because of the Rockies and the snow and the winter, and it was just nuts, dude. It was just a whole bunch of crazy chaos going on. I had never seen snow in my life until basically the Rockies of Colorado walking. I literally had never seen snow, bro, until I've been on this journey.
Yeah. That's crazy though, bro. Like just thinking about that, because that's pretty crazy.
I walked through the highest city in North America in Leadville, Colorado, the highest incorporated city, 10,200 feet in the snow, -11. I'd never experienced weather like that. People that like came across me on social media or saw me on the side of the road gave me Carhartt hoodies and jackets, bro, and snow pants and snow boots, ski goggles. Somebody gave me like an old 80s retro whole ski suit one time. It was nuts. I got some funny pictures.
Yeah, it was prepared for that.
Yeah, but to answer the actual question, because of all the stuff that I missed out on walking with the hernia, by the time I had made it to Washington, I put myself on such a crazy restriction. I put myself on a timeline to make it by a certain time. So I rushed everything and I missed out on a lot. And at that point I realized that I wanted to do more. So I took a break after I finished walking coast to coast. My family flew out, my girlfriend flew out. A ton of people showed up at the ending at the Long Beach, Washington, with signs and everything that said "You matter," for me to go put my feet in the Pacific Ocean. Dude, it was epic. But on that month that I took off hanging out with my girlfriend, I was like, I want to do some more walking. I missed out on so much. I want to go see more. So I decided I was going to walk up to the most northwestern point to Cape Flattery, Washington. I made it up there, and I was on my way back down to Long Beach, Washington, when I met some bikers in Forks, Washington, that were biking all four corners. And I was like, I want to walk it. So because I had already hit the most northwestern point, I was like, I'm just going to walk all the way down to the corner of San Diego. I'm going to walk back to Florida, walk down to the Keys at the most southern point, and then back up to Maine. So I'm on I just started
just
part
thinking
3.
about that, it's making my feet hurt, bro.
Dude, man, I had some gnarly blisters. I just shared a picture the other day about this time last year.
How many shoes do you go through, bro?
I've been through probably 12 full pairs, 13 full pairs.
Well, man's full of miles, bro.
Dude, so many miles. So many miles, man. I try to change out. I try to be conscious around 500 something miles to change out my shoes.
Yeah, you got to, bro. Protect them feet, dog.
Dude, I've had some mad blisters. The post I just shared this time last year, dude, I had to stop for a week in camp because My whole toe was
bleeding and shit,
obliterated,
or what?
bro. It was just a red toe. Like, all the main skin came off. It was nuts. Luckily, since that day, I've been so much better about replacing my shoes ever since I got that next pair of shoes that I hardly ever get blisters anymore. You know, unless I'm going to go do like a super long day, and I might get minor blisters. It just kind of depends on how I take care of my feet that day. I don't really get blisters anymore, thank God.
We gotta get you a shoe sponsor, bro.
No, I'm working on it, dude.
Shout out, bro.
With Ultra Running, bro. Ultra Running shoes. That's my favorite pair of shoes, bro. People have sent the brand messages for me. I make videos. I've tagged them in a bunch of stuff. The people that I kind of co-founded it. I even have the dude on Facebook, but he's kind of hard to get a hold of. But I just found out recently that actual brand sold out to the North Face. So I actually have to contact to the North Face to see if I can get sponsored with Ultra Running. But Ultra Running shoes, the Olympus 5s, are my absolute favorite.
Shout out Olympus 5s, dude.
Absolutely. And one of the other big things that we got going on in the journey is raising money for a nonprofit organization called Addict to Athletes. So I got to walk through Utah and met this organization. They were like, "Hey, do you want to be on a podcast?" Well, as they were doing a podcast, as I was lining up the podcast.
Sorry, sir. What song is that? That's with your head, right? Sorry.
Panic at the Disco. Right? Or hold on.
Or was that Biggie?
Huh?
Is it Panic at the Disco or Biggie? Or
no, I'm sorry. No, that was
both,
Fall Out Boy. What?
That's a remix, right? Yeah, I was like, it's just this rock, Biggie. It's just random, bro. Anyways,
heck yeah.
Sorry about that. Yeah, shoes, bro. Dude, I get blisters on the back of my heel sometimes, and it sucks dick, bro. I don't even want to like do anything for a little bit when that happens. You know what I mean? And you put the Band-Aid on there like it's gonna do anything, you know? It don't do anything, dog. You know?
Bro, you gotta take care of the feet and the shoes, bro.
Yeah.
Got to.
Yeah, so talk your foundation that you're talking about.
Addict to Athlete, nonprofit organization. So, organization based out of Orem, Utah. So I was walking through, and they reached out about doing a podcast. So the cool thing is the news out there in Salt Lake City had reached out, right the same time. So they came out and like covered my day of walking, and then like covered their podcast with me. So that it was really cool, bro. Yeah. But I got to do a podcast with them, and I fell in love with them because you mentioned like you didn't do the 12 steps or things. I didn't really do the 12 steps either. Like I said earlier, I was quarter to those programs. They weren't my thing. Now I don't ever like down anybody that does or anything like that. Like the accountability and the group support is amazing.
Everyone has their own way, dude. You know
exactly. And you know what? You. Like people ask me to like, hey, come to an AA/NA meeting. I don't just go to NA and AA meetings because it wasn't part of my recovery unless a director or somebody running a meeting says, hey, we're having a guest speaker meeting and we want you to come share your story with the people. But other than that, because if I do go share my story, people will literally keep me around for a couple hours afterwards to ask a bunch of questions when it's easier just to have a guest speaker invite and share as much as I can as possible, open up the floor for a couple questions, and then get it out. Now I'm trying to move to motivational speaking eventually. But, you know, like as I'm walking through towns, I'll do regular stuff. Like today I got to go share my stuff with the mayor at City Hall in Wildemar, which was pretty cool.
Yeah. How was it when you told him your story? Did you trip out, you know?
Oh, no, they were really cool. So they had seen me on social media and found out. So they asked me to come in and share. They did a little video and stuff like that. But the organization, I fell in love with them because they said that they're a non-anonymous program. So they're all about, they encourage people to be open about their recovery and share their stories and things like that. It's like doing a podcast and talking about your story. And they're all about recreation, like recovery, education, recreation. They get out, they go do 5Ks and stuff like that. I was just there a few weeks ago, and I did a 5K with them. And this 5K, they even, a couple days before, they're like, hey, you're going to push. Do you want to push? I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, am I supposed to motivate people on the sideline or something? They're like, no, like a wheelchair. Like, do you want to run a wheelchair? And I was like, I've never done that before. He was like, dude, you're gonna love it. Blue Robinson, the executive director of, he was like, dude, you're gonna love it. And I was like, okay, cool. So I got to meet, her name was Emma, bro, and I got to run a wheelchair, bro. I ran a 5K, like 32 minutes pushing a wheelchair, bro.
Damn.
And it was one of the most amazing things I've ever done in my life, bro. To know that you're somebody else's legs, just to be able to give back to somebody that can't do it and give them that joy of getting to do a race like that, dude. It was so amazing. But they are all about that type of stuff, getting people in their community involved. And the cool thing is it's not just random people that wanted to put together a nonprofit. They've ran a recovery organization thing before. And, you know, they're both like, they both have degrees with what they do. He's a licensed therapist and a clinician. She's, if I'm not mistaken, like, like she has a degree in recreation, you know, in athletics or something like that. Don't quote me on that 100%, but they can back up what they are about. But they are the nicest people, and they have a lot of love for their community, and they're all about movement, healing and movement. They're about turning your mess into a message and going out and spreading it. And as somebody walking across America trying to spread a positive message, because I've been through the fire and the flames personally, it aligns so heavily with what I do. The 5K that we did, they literally have a quiet zone where they had a bunch of little signs with basically names and pictures of people that are no longer with us. We both do stuff in proxy and remembrance, so it lined up so perfect. So, and I didn't do it for part 1 or for part 2. For part 3, I'm out here raising money for Addict to athletes. So anybody that does see this, if they're ever familiar or ever want to go check them out, that's Addict, Roman numeral 2 athletes. They're amazing. I took a recovery coach to the program because I love them so much. I was like, hey, can y'all sponsor me to take your recovery coach program? They're like, absolutely. So now if I ever settle down, I can go open my own chapter of this organization wherever I go settle down. So that's the cool thing, is like, I'm basically a part of that nonprofit now. Yeah. Because I'm on the move so much, I'm more like a brand ambassador right now. But they are incredible. Go check them out. You know,
I'll put a link and everything so they can just click it like in the bio. So
sweet, like
I got
that.
you, bro. Yeah.
You know, but regardless, it's about mental health and recovery. Regardless, it's about mental health and recovery. Just letting people know.
It's like a club, dude. You know, bro, you know what I mean? It's just a positive club. That's kind of like what fighting is. You know, martial arts. It's kind of similar. It's just like a group of people that it's like you have just this like-minded thing, and then it just helps you like just better enrich your life. You know, like martial arts helps you stay clean in a lot of ways as well. You know, that's what it is, bro. You gotta find a community. That's honestly what it comes down to, bro. Like when you're just doing your own, you just make bad decisions a lot of times, bro. You know what I mean?
It's so. Are you familiar with like the hamster experiment with like heroin water?
I'm not sure. Not heroin water. No, I know the nicotine one, but do tell though.
So boom, they put a hamster or a gerbil, one of the two, or I think it's a hamster. Is that the normal thing they use
today, bro?
Or a rat. I'm sorry, a rat.
Okay, mice or something.
Like a science rat. Sorry, rat experiment.
Let's go.
So, you know, they put a rat in the cage, and they have heroin water and regular water. You know, after a minute, when the rat figures out what the heroin water is, it's going to go to the heroin water every time, basically, until it drinks itself to death, in a sense. Or literally. But they put a group of rats in the same thing, and none of them go to the heroin water.
Whoa, that's interesting.
Because they have that community around them that hey, you don't need that water, you got us.
Yeah, don't drink that.
And it's weird because all the hate that you see, all you got to do is turn on your TV or go scroll through social media. Not my page, but you know, there's so much hate. There's so many people that are tearing each other down, and that's just dividing people constantly. You know, people are getting shot at like nice resorts where people come to hang out and camp as family groups over parking spots, man.
Yeah.
For no reason at all, you know? And it just blows my mind that life is like that. But if more people felt like they were loved, like they were cared about, like they were a part of something, if they were accepted, you know, all these, there's so many different groups. And yeah, it's definitely easy to click up. You got your friends that you click with them the most. It's easy, but your group shouldn't have to be divided by race or how you look or the money in your pocket or anything like that. It should be like who you vibe with because you vibe with them, not like rich people sticking together. I should be able to get along with anybody from any race, from any background that listens to any type of music or anything like that, if our vibes are right. You know what I mean? I think there's so much division in so many different ways, and I'm not to get all crazy, like sounding even political talking about that, but you know,
you're good, bro. No, it's healthy, bro. It's healthy to find your community, bro. Like, honestly, as long as like you guys are working towards a goal, that's all that matters. Because as long as you have a goal in mind, it's gonna allow you to not be distracted by these other things, you know.
Absolutely.
Whatever it is, but if you like to play chess, whatever, man. I can't stress that enough, man. That's why I always tell people, if you feel lost, bro, go join a gym, dog.
Right. But you can't find that community if you don't go out and go to the community to find it.
Yeah.
You know, you can't expect you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. You can find out a community's there, but you got to go be part of it. You can't expect the community to come to you.
Yeah.
And I wish it worked like that. And that's the thing. I would love to encourage the world to be that community that goes out to the people and bring them in, because there's not enough of that. And if I could spread that message, that's a message I want to spread. Like, go out there and tell people that you don't have to walk across America to spread a positive message. I have a "You Matter" sign that is on the front of that cart, dude. Yeah. Those 2 words alone have stopped so many people on the side of the highway to ask me what I was doing. Screw the walking across America sign. It's that "You Matter" sign. There's been people tell me that was the day they didn't want to be there and they drove by that sign. It's something real. It's awesome to be able to be a bright light in a dark place, man.
Yeah.
Especially for somebody that has been through it, not just because people are going through it and people are losing their lives, but I shouldn't be here, and I have personally been through it. And that's the cool thing. I am a walking testimony. It's not just a title. It's something that I resonate deeply within and outside of me, like all around me. That is my life, man. Like, I have a testimony, and I want to share it with people.
Yeah.
So thank you for the opportunity to share. Some, I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, dude. I mean, thanks for telling me, dude. I've just been sitting here listening to your story and just, it's just cool, man.
It's wild, dude. It's been crazy. I've seen a lot of cool stuff, dude.
Yeah,
I've been to mountaintops and valleys and all kinds of stuff. I've gotten out of my comfort zone. I went skydiving and base jumping on this journey, dude.
Yeah. Damn, you went base jumping?
Yeah.
How was that?
Moab, Utah, bro.
That's scary.
It was scary, but it was epic, bro. Got me out of my comfort zone, but it was like a reset to the soul. Yeah. I heard somebody out there make that phrase, like reference that, and bro, I cannot get that out of my head. Like, it's like a reset for the soul. Dude, it's amazing. So I got to go base jumping twice. I've been skydiving twice now. I got to go tandem paragliding too. Dude, one of the cool parts of the journey was this year, March 30th. That was my birthday. I turned 31. Day 500 of the journey. Like I said, I only count the days I walk. On the days I walk, I walked across the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco with the last person to jump off and survive.
Whoa.
Dude, it was deep, bro.
That's crazy.
It was deep, man. Yeah.
That messed him up or what?
Yeah, it did, and I'll tell you about that in just a second. Over 1,900 people have jumped off and passed away from jumping off of that bridge. Only like 39 or 40 have survived, and he was one of the few.
It's a big drop, bro.
So I think he said when he hit the water, I think he said his ribs fractured or whatever, and punctured his lungs, and something else happened. Yeah, dude, it was. He said the damage from the water alone was bad. And the funny thing is, not the funny thing, but I was trying to get a different person who is a giant mental health advocate, because he had jumped off a long time ago when he was younger. His name's Kevin Hines. Amazing story. When he jumped in, the water sucked him 70 feet under. He broke both of his legs in the process. Barely got up, and a sea lion or a harbor seal kept him up as the Coast Guard were rescuing him. So the thing is spectators looked on. Nobody specifically said what animal, but he says it's pretty sure it's a harbor seal. A year later, him and his dad go back to the Golden Gate Bridge to the same exact spot. You know, his dad was like, you know, get your closure, whatever. Like, they take a special flower. They said he threw the flower over, and the second the flower hit the water, a harbor seal's head popped up out the water. How crazy is that?
His dad saw it? It was confirmed?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, his dad was with him when that happened. But yeah, that was part of the thing. Like, if that doesn't tell you, like,
Well,
it's sad that it happens, that anybody ever has that, you know, and it's sad that so many people pass away for taking their lives, but some people, and everybody does have a purpose to live. I'm a firm believer of that, and it's sad some people don't get to live that out. But the ones that do get to make it, that get to turn around and share a story like that, bro, absolutely insanely incredible.
Oh, yeah,
and all the stuff he does for mental health.
Dog, you know?
I wish one day I could do as much for mental health as he does. It's but at the same time, to be able to do stuff on that type of level, you have to have certain resources too.
I don't know if you want in on that club though, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like,
No, not like that. I'm talking about like
I get what you're saying,
awareness
yeah,
for mental health in general. No. I've tried to take my life twice. I'm thankful for where I'm at. That's not where I'm at.
This is where you're supposed to be at, dog. You know?
This is where I'm supposed to be, brother. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And I'm thankful for every breath I get, man, because I could wake up tomorrow. I could not wake up tomorrow. I'll just say that. I could not wake up tomorrow.
It's true.
And at the end of the day, can I say that I lived a life worth living? I did a lot of stuff I'm not proud of that I would never, ever suggest, never condone for anybody ever in the future to do that stuff. But the stuff I've done since I've changed my life, I've gotten to do more in the last 2 years walking across America, and the sights I've seen and the people that I've got to meet and people I got pictures with and stuff like that than most people get to do in a lifetime. And it's not like to brag or put myself on a pedestal. I sacrificed a lot. I sacrificed a full-time job, you know, getting out of prison. I had a place to go. I was straight, but this is where I needed to be. I had to go make a change. I had to make a sacrifice to go live a life that I wanted to live. I have had, some hate here and there with people like, oh, it must be nice to have a free vacation from people helping you out, this, that, and the other. At the end of the day, it's not free. I bust my butt walking these miles, bro. Every bit of this mileage that I put in, I put wear and tear on my body. I meet a lot of people. Stuff that people don't see from live streaming, just walking the side of the road, is the hundreds of messages I get for people sharing their life stories of family members that have passed away or all the traumatic things that they've been through. I'm not a licensed therapist, but people talking to me through social media, I'm basically a therapist, because I get so much stuff and people ask me, people kind of look at me that way. I don't see myself as a life coach, but I guess in a sense, but I also look at it like I don't have all the answers and solutions. I just want to share my life and how I live my life and be as positive as I can and hope somebody that might get something out of it, because I have been through a bunch of crazy stuff that not everybody does make it out of. Well, have I been through all the craziest stuff anybody could imagine? No. Have I been through the worst stuff anybody can imagine? No, I've been through some pretty bad stuff, but definitely not the worst. I know a bunch of military men right now that are struggling with mental health that have been through way worse and seen way worse than I could ever imagine. And I don't wish that on anybody that has to go through that, but every single one of those people matter too, man. We all matter. And that's something I just want to push out to the world as much as I can, anywhere I can. Even if it's on a podcast, on the news, to somebody on the side of the road, to somebody through a live video stream. I just want to tell them that they matter, man. That's like my biggest thing.
What a journey, dude. I mean, honestly, that's why I always tell people, like, when I see kids that are kind of like struggling, and I see their parents, getting stressed out, and I'm just like, there's a good chance he'll figure it out, just trust him,
Right.
Like, don't let him go run amok, but like, yeah, I think he'll be all right as long as he's got a good family to be there for him, That's really all it takes, dude, just to have at least one person in your corner, to do right,
And this is the thing, and not everybody does have that, sadly enough. I was raised in a good household. I don't have a broken household. My parents are still married after 35, 6 years. And I'm thankful and blessed for that. Not everybody gets that. And to anybody that ever might see this, if you were raised in a broken household, if you weren't raised with the proper love and care about, I want to let you know I love you and I care about you, and I'm sorry that it happened like that. Please don't ever think that defines you, because it doesn't. You still have value and purpose, and you're amazing. So never forget that. And that's and that's how it should be, because everybody deserves that love and care. But I had a decent family. I didn't have to go through that route, dude. I wanted to be a thug, dude.
Bro, some of these kids though, bro, from these recent generations that have been like wilding out, bro. Have you seen like those kids play like the knockout games and stuff? I'm glad that was not my generation, dog.
Yeah, dude, it's bad. All the challenges, man. What, I think a couple years I was in prison, but I think I saw something on videos where there was like people were lighting themselves on fire challenge going on, and just
man,
people
just
doing
low IQ stuff, bro.
Just gnarly stuff. Like there was the challenge where people were choking each other out too. Now that's something I had seen people do back in the day every once in a while.
Yeah.
But never as a challenge, as a game. Like, let's try to make each other stop breathing. It is wild. It is wild. It's crazy because it's actually, I'm not even gonna get into that part. I thought about it and realized I would go down the whole wrong rabbit trail.
Whatever you're not comfortable with sharing, bro, you don't gotta share. All I'm saying, bro, sometimes, bro, hear me out. Earlier, I was saying most kids will figure it out, but you do have those kids that won't figure it out. These kids that are doing these challenges, they might not figure it out, Those kids need to be, like, separated from society, You can't, like... You can't be nice to people like that, In my opinion, That's when you need the good old ass whoopings. Knockout game, knock you out, dog.
Now, I'm definitely about good old school discipline. I was a kid that was spanked as a child, and I still went down a wild path. But like I
sure we're knocking no random old ladies out though.
I definitely was not. I definitely was not.
You just gotta live, bro. Just every day, you just gotta wake up and just do a little better, dude. And like in a year, you look back and you'll notice like all the changes, It's like not to bring it back to like martial arts, but that's honestly like the only thing I know, But when someone first starts, how they're just looking for that progression,
Mm-hmm.
And they might be getting a little bit better in like a few months, but they don't really notice it, because they still kind of look sloppy. But someone that like has been seeing them from the beginning, they're like, oh, they're punching more straighter.
Right.
You got that little movement going now, But then after a year passes, you're like watching videos of yourself or something, and you're like, damn. I improved, and that's just how life is, bro.
Yeah.
Whether it's recovery with, you got some addiction or anything in life that you're going through, bro, you just gotta be a little bit better every day,
Absolutely. That's all there is room for growth and improvement.
Yeah.
In every aspect of our lives on a daily basis.
Yeah, unless you're those kids playing the knockout game, you need to just go to jail or something, bro.
I wish it wasn't like that. Just people aren't loved enough.
Yeah.
People aren't cared about enough. I don't know. I feel like people feel like they don't have other options when there is other options. They're just not willing to go find out what those options are, or being willing to do what they have to do to make options happen. You know what I'm saying? Like,
some people don't got that hustler attitude, bro.
That's the thing. And the cool thing about, like, I've met a lot of people that been to prison, bad junkies, this, that, and the other. Successful business owners, own their own shops, own this, own that. Nice house, nice cars, all of that. And it's like, okay, I know people that have worked 9 to 5s their whole lives and still struggle paycheck to paycheck. And then there's these people that just got out of prison a few years ago, they're flourishing.
Yeah.
And they just came from nothing a couple of years ago. How does it happen? And I think it is that hustler, that drive that you have as an addict or something to go get it by any means necessary. Some people even willing to take a life to go get that next fix. Robbing people, hurting people, taking what people got, stealing people's cars, this, that, and the other. Get the next fix. When you turn that and change your life around, you don't lose the drive. You still got the heart and the
Channel it.
passion that it's channeling it
That's what you got
in that different direction. Erasing that
chaos,
negative
bro.
thing and putting it into that positive thing. Replace it with that positive thing, like working out or jujitsu or martial arts. You know, putting everything in it. People go from eating a lot, like boom, food is an addiction. Food can be an addiction for some people. I know people that have gotten into working out and that has become the addiction. It's become the lifestyle. That addiction has become the lifestyle. But there's other things. It's not just working out. There's other things. Some people paint. Some people put their passions into music.
Expressing yourself,
just singing different ways. Yeah.
Expressing
What
yourself,
you're
you know?
passionate about. Not enough people chase their passions and their own dreams anymore because we got to pay taxes. We got to have a house. We got to have this. But at the end of the day, who told you that you had to have all of that? It's the stuff that we kind of want and it seems like it's a necessity. But you know what? I can tent on open land in many, many places and be good. I kind of wish everybody would sell their house. Everybody lived in tents because
Not everyone
I'm
wants
just
to do
kind
that,
of
though.
playing about that. But at the end of the day,
I like having a roof, bro.
at the end
air
of the day,
conditioning.
all this type of stuff has only been around in the last couple hundred years. You know what I'm saying? Especially AC and electricity and all that stuff that we are so comfortable with has only been around for a couple hundred years. People for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years lived very uncomfortably.
Yeah.
But it might not have been uncomfortable to them.
Well, it was
you
just
know
life,
what I
though.
mean?
But we're like spoiled because we're
are
born into this, you know?
And if you were to take a phone away from some people out there today, taking your phone, you're grounded, a parent, you know, stepping up to do whatever, there's probably a child out there that would take their life because a phone got taken away because this is one of the biggest addictions.
Yeah.
And you're talking to a dude that has 2 phones. I know that the phone is an addiction.
Yeah. I got 2.
But I will say at the same time, I get really good balance because I'm walking like 15 to 20 miles a day and I'm looking in nature all the time. So I get that exercise, that nature, and that balance. But life is so much more than that.
Yeah. Well,
So
there were
much more than
studies that showed when you're on your phone, your like releases like certain endorphins and stuff, just like when you do certain drugs, you know.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, so much phone time, absolutely.
They're thinking about classifying it as like a drug or something right now. I don't know. I don't think they're gonna do it though. You know, the cell phone companies aren't gonna allow it.
No, that'd be nuts.
Get out of my pocket, government. You know?
But I mean, it can be a problem. But I like to use social media for positivity and not dramativity.
It's a balance, bro. It's what it comes down to. Just like anything in life, you know.
It's weird how many people look for the negative though.
Super easy. That's what
Easy. Like
they're drawn to it.
Like I look at certain followers to certain things. Some of the positive followers. Don't get me wrong. There's some that have a lot of followers, but then I look at these people that do bullying videos that hurt each other or just do like, even if it's set up pranking each other, that like kind of like demean people or put people down in a sense to make a check or to get some views off a video. And I used to love these videos. Don't get me wrong. I used to be like, yes, this is the stuff. But at one point I was like, and every once in a while, you know, I might see one, I might laugh a little bit, but I'm not like, you know, like hating. Like I am a mental health advocate regardless, but I'm a human.
Sometimes
Some stuff
it's funny, you know?
can be funny, but I stopped watching stuff for the longest time because I'm like, these people are just straight disrespecting people and getting away with it and getting views.
Some
and
of them are bad.
look at all the followers that these people have for doing that, like spreading negativity, pouring negativity and bullying and stuff in different ways into all these people's lives, and all these people are eating it up.
Some call it evil, you know?
And some people just enjoy it.
In biblical terms, you know,
it's
called
weird.
the devil.
I used to think that I had my own mind problems, bro. I used to, when I was on drugs, I would watch the craziest videos, dude. For some reason, like some crazy videos would come across my feed, and like it was people's like bad things happening to people. I've seen a lot of those videos, and I used to just like how could people do it? But I would think later in the day,
cartel
how could I
videos,
sit
bro.
here and watch it?
You ever seen the cartel videos?
Bad.
Oh,
Terrible.
bro. But I kept clicking and dying. You know? Yeah, humans are just prone to like that.
It's weird, dude. I thought I had a problem. So one time in prison, there was 3 nights in a row, and I only remember one of them, but I had 3 dreams, 3 nights in a row, that each one woke me up in a sweat, and it was me hurting somebody.
Oh yeah, that's bad, bro.
And
you wake up kind of like.
and one of them, it was I had this mini chainsaw, and it was like somebody's head, and it was like me just cutting off like a tiny chunk of somebody's forehead. And I woke up out of this dream, and I prayed, bro. I'm like,
Yeah.
Whatever's in my head, like, Lord, please take that out of my head, because is something wrong with me right now?
Yeah,
because
bro.
this ain't me, and I don't know why I'm dreaming this.
Yeah, I
like,
hope
it
this ain't
freaked me out. Why am I dreaming about hurting people?
Yeah, no.
And this was after I changed my life too. Like, you know what I mean? This is after I'm like, what is happening? Those 3 days in a row, it was like very gory dreams, and it freaked me out. But oh, dude, it was. I don't even know. I don't even know where I was going with that, but it was not good.
Yeah, bro. So you got any last messages you want to give the viewers, the people at home, family, friends, loved ones?
Guys, as a walking testimony, I'm all about mental health and recovery. Please never forget that you matter. We do recover. If there's anybody struggling with any depression or just not wanting to be here anymore, never forget that you have value and purpose. Please never lose sight of that. If there's anybody that's putting you down or telling you that you don't have value or purpose or making you feel like you're less than anything, please cut them out of your lives, no matter how close they are to you. It's so very important to love yourself, and that's a part of it. Everybody deserves to be properly loved and cared about, and I never want y'all to lose sight of that. I'm so thankful for your existence. I just hope that you can turn your existence into living your best life. To my people in recovery or trying to get into recovery, we do recover. You have to want it for yourself. Rehabs, groups, all that is absolutely amazing. The accountability, highly recommended, guys, but you can only do it if you want to do it for yourselves. But we do recover. You got this. Go follow me, all social media platforms. Just go look up A Walking Testimony. We're walking across America for mental health awareness and recovery. Thank you so much for letting me share what I'm doing. Love y'all so much. God bless.
Kendal,
dude, thank you.
It's nice meeting you, dude.
Thank you so
amazing
much,
story,
man. I appreciate it, man.
When you come back down to California, let me know.
Absolutely.
You're gonna come back, right?
Maybe one day.
Oh, dude,
one day to visit.
So you're doing the 4 corners, right? So you're starting from here, going towards New York, or what?
So I've already done Florida. I've already done 2 at the corners.
Oh, shit. Okay. Well, we'll meet again. No, my bad.
But my sister lives in San Diego.
Bro, just hit me up anytime anyways. You take your breaks, we'll kick it, bro. Maybe come try some Muay Thai, dog.
Muay Thai?
Yeah, jiu-jitsu or something, bro.
Oh, I get beat real quick.
I mean, we all do it. Life beats us every day,
Right. I might do a boxing class. I don't know. I got a bunch of people to message.
Yeah. All right, Kendal. Well, dude, it's nice meeting you.
You too, bro.
Thanks for the story. Everyone at home, bye.